2, 1.
Alright, welcome to April's Instructor video. This year we're putting out one video a month for specifically instructors and academy owners. And students are more than welcome to watch these videos so again you can see the insight as to what we're trying to do in our academies. Alright, this month we're going to talk about a topic that is really important as far as going the extra mile and being different than other karate schools out there or other sports even that are out there. And a long time ago by my instructors beat into my head, Zig Ziglar quote, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Students will fall through the cracks unless we make that connection and show them that we do care about them. They are important and their issues are important to us as well. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be their counselor. It doesn't mean you're sitting there and listening to all their problems. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, so many times a student will come in the door for a reason, but they also come in the door with maybe a little bit of baggage. Maybe they got picked on at school and they have a little bit of low self-esteem, or maybe they have some kind of hang-up or some kind of injury or some kind of fear as far as being out in front of everybody or yelling in front of class, okay, or being corrected. A lot of people have a fear of being wrong, and so being corrected is a big fear of theirs. So we want to make sure we understand some of these things. So the first area is compassion, and compassion kind of addresses some of this. We don't, again, want to sit here with a box of tissues and just cry with everybody, but at the same time, if somebody comes to the door, we don't know what's going on in their head. So we want to be real careful when we first start off with a student to kind of observe them and see, okay, they're not yelling really loud. I wonder why they're not yelling really loud. And then, you put it out there to them again, make sure you guys are yelling really loud instead of, hey, you need to yell loud, all right? That military style sometimes works, but sometimes doesn't, especially with teenagers and adults. We want to make sure we address the team, address the group, and if they're still not doing it, give them time, and maybe they'll catch on to that eventually, or they'll get more confident being in martial arts, and then they'll start yelling, or they'll start running faster, or they'll start doing this. So some of the things we do want to look at from a military standpoint. Everyone can kind of work hard, but when it comes to certain things, we want to be compassionate. If someone's not jumping as high as you can jump, or as high as your top guys can jump, they may have an injury. They may not have told you about. Okay, that doesn't mean you walk up and ask them, "Hey, are you hurt or something?" Well, what it means is that you steadily increase your motivational tools towards them, okay? All right, guys, jump a little higher. Good job. You're getting a little higher every time, aren't you? Things like that do make a big difference, okay? So instead of pointing out someone's flaws to them that they already feel self-conscious about and making them feel more self-conscious is addressing the team, motivating them, and then slowly hitting one positive thing at a time to push that person a little bit further. And then, as you see they're progressing, then you can push them a little bit more specifically to that issue. So be compassionate. All right, Mr. Starr told me a long time ago, not everyone's going to look exactly like you at every rank. Some people are going to look better, some people are going to look worse. But we want to make sure we understand that we are training people for the long run. Like I've said before, you look at my 3rd and 4th degree black belts, there's no slobs in the bunch. They're all sharp martial artists, and that's the goal, okay? So if you have somebody who gets 1st degree black belt and, they're just struggling a little bit physically with things, that doesn't mean you bark at them and yell at them or you make them feel bad. What it means is you just keep motivating them and pushing them and showing them they can do little things at a time. Small baby steps, pushing them, motivating them. Watch what happens when they're 3rd degree. And then watch what happens when they're 4th degree. You wouldn't have kept them to 4th degree if you weren't motivating them enough at that 1st degree level. So compassion. Really, really important thing, okay? The next one's love. We talked about this in our instructor seminar this week with my team. And love, you don't want to just walk up and give everybody hugs and kisses. But what I mean by love is, do your students know that you love them? They know you care about them. 10 years from now, if they were to quit today, 10 years from now, what would they say? Would they have good things to say about you? Would they say, man, he just really loved my kids when they were in the program. They just really showed my kids' love at that academy. Again, this is not that huggy-duggy love, but the love that we show other human beings, that shows you are important to us, you are a quality person, and we are so glad that you're here. That type of love is what I'm talking about. So we can make sure we do that. And you can do that by small things. Number one, know your students' names. Give them high fives. Give them reassurance that they're doing a good job. Everyone wants to know, including myself, that we're doing a good job in those types of things, okay? The next thing is, as far as that stuff goes, is you want to be a motivator, okay? You want to push your students. So yes, you want to be compassionate. Yes, you want to show them love. But at the same time, you as the instructor, so if you're an instructor, and especially if you're the academy owner, you're on point. You have got to make sure you are driving into these students that they are only going to be as good as they make themselves. I can tell my students, do your best push-ups. But the student on their hands and feet doing the push-ups has to make themselves do the best push-ups. I can't make you do a good push-up, but I can inspire you to want to. Okay? How do you do that? How do you motivate your students? Number one, you have to train hard when you train. Number two, you have to perform when you're teaching. If you're standing in front of the classroom teaching class like this and just barking orders saying, all right, 5 more push-ups, go. Front kick, 1, 2, 3. If you're still teaching like that, you're going to lose a lot when it comes to student motivation. You want to get out there. Nobody wants anything more in your classes than to see you perform. That's what they want. They want to show, they want to be entertained. That doesn't mean you're just bouncing around the whole time. But I guarantee you, rarely does a day go by that I teach that I am not sweating just as much as my students are. I'm jumping around, I'm doing the forms 100%. I'm doing my technique 100%. So as far as my students go, they see what I expect from them because I'm doing it. When I have my adults do conditioning, 85% of the time, I'm going to do the conditioning with them to show them that I'm not going to ask you to do something that I myself am not willing to do. So you want to be compassionate, you want to be understanding, you want to make sure you're loving, but at the same time, you're on point when it comes to being the example of what your martial art can be. Now, of course, there are different ones of you out there that are instructors or owners that have had physical issues yourselves, okay? And I totally understand that. But you can make up for that. You can make up for that with your enthusiasm and your voice and having other people demonstrate for you that are your top guys. I've gone through injuries. I've gone through surgeries. I've gone through times where I couldn't be out there jumping around as much as I want to. So I totally understand that perspective. But you have guys that you can have come out and be your examples and be your substitute when it comes to motivating. But your voice inflection and your body language and your high fives and your pats on the back and things like that have got to be even more amplified because of the fact that you can't physically do what you wish you could do, okay? So don't let that limit you. Don't let that put you down. Make sure you step up even more and do that. I really enjoy doing these videos. Keep your emails coming as far as if there's something you want me to specifically address. Our academy is just having a great time right now. Ultimate Leadership Martial Arts is pushing hard through 2011. We just tested 200 students for the first time, so we're celebrating that. And my students gave me, or my staff gave me a toy Hummer. It's about this big because I said about 10 years ago when the Hummer first came out, really, that when we test 200 students, I'm going to buy myself a Hummer. I don't know why I wanted it so bad back then. I don't as much now, but so my staff decided, well, we'll get them one. So I'll have to put that picture on here and show you. But really cool things going on. Make sure you keep those emails coming. Keep pushing hard. Keep driving your own academies. And I really wish you great luck. All right? Again, my name is Mershad with Ultimate Leadership Martial Arts.